Hey everyone, welcome to the Natural News. If you haven't visited us before, we just talk about usually five or so health topics that are trending right now. I would love to get your feedback on them. If you have any comments, questions, we can talk about it all. My name is Erin. Super happy to be here with you all today. Let's dive right in. I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. So if you can drop that in the comments, would love to hear that. And yeah, so we're just going to talk about five different health topics that I see in social media and the news popping up a lot. I have some really fun ones today that I think you guys are really going to resonate with. So, the first one that I want to talk about is the gut brain axis. And honestly, I do think this is one of the most interesting shifts happening in wellness right now. For a while, gut health topic was really just about bloating and like that upset tummy feeling. The probiotics like we've been talking about and what can kind of make your stomach feel off. And now I think the conversation is getting a little bit more layered. So people are starting to ask how gut health kind of translates to other health. Specifically, what I want to talk about here is your brain health. So this can kind of affect stress, it can affect your focus and many other things and how just you're feeling emotionally day to day. So that is why this topic I believe is picking up so much momentum. A lot of people are just feeling stressed, foggy, inflamed, and not like themselves. So when they hear about gut health, they're thinking that, it might play a little bit bigger of a picture. So that is kind of why I wanted to bring up this topic today. I would love to hear your thoughts. I really I think I've heard on social media that the gut is the second brain and it affects everything. A lot of issues stem from your gut. So skin health, how your brain acts. One of our brands that we have over at The Natural talks about your gut thyroid axis and how those connect. So I think healing your gut can be very important. Now, how we go about that is going to range for everyone. A nutritionist and a doctor can help you kind of on your best path there if you have zero idea where to start. But I would be taking a look at what supplements you're taking, what you're eating, and just your overall daily habits and how that might affect your gut health. So, again, I would love to hear, drop a comment if you have any questions or something that was really like a light bulb switch that happened for you that helps your gut. I do have some resources here. I'll send those in the chat so you can take a look and read up more. All right, and now I'm going to have to send them one at a time because my comment is too long. Bear with me here. Perfect. We got that one sent over. Awesome. So, yeah, gut health is extremely important and something that people are paying more and more attention to. But that does kind of translate into another big conversation happening in health and wellness spaces. I know from some of you who are in the Natural Wellness Collective, you've probably heard me talk about this more than once, but magnesium. We talked about minerals in a previous episode, specifically magnesium and its effect on stress, sleep, and recovery. It is something that is everywhere right now. And I'm not really surprised that it's everywhere because I do think it's really important. People are exhausted, they're overstimulated, they're stressed, and we are working hard and just not recovering as we should. So that's why magnesium does keep coming up. It's something that's really practical and approachable and just kind of sits in the middle of a few of the biggest struggles people are having when it comes to stress, sleep, tension, and overall just that run down feeling. So, what makes this topic land so well is that the people do feel like it's the problem first. They're feeling that wired and tired feeling, and that our brains just can't shut off. So, this is where I think taking magnesium can really help. I take it every night before I go to sleep. We have tons of options on thenatural.com, so you can head over there and I can certainly help you on which one you can buy. There are several different types of magnesium. I'm not going to go over each one of them today. If you'd like a longer video on that, I certainly can record that for you on all the different types of magnesium and what they play a role in. You can certainly do research on that as well. I know it is all over online, but everyone kind of affects something different. So there is one that can help with sleep, stress, digestion can also be a huge part when it comes to magnesium. So I think the better conversation here is, are you living in a way that is consistently depleting you? If so, maybe you're under eating, over caffeinating, you're skimping on the sleep, you're just never slowing down. It's go, 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 go. And this is why magnesium works. And I think with the supplement conversation, it really opens up a door to a bigger lifestyle conversation. So, like I said, we do have a ton of options on thenatural.com. If you're looking for one, I can certainly help you out, or you can head over there. I have some resources when it comes to magnesium as well. I will drop those in the chat so you can take a look at those and read up a little bit yourself. Awesome. All right. So we have our next topic that I feel like is kind of trending right now is going to be fiber first wellness. And I think this is a great, smart wellness conversation because for years we have been talking about protein. And I agree. I think protein is very important. Most people are under eating when it comes to their protein. Carbs and things like that are, and fats are really taking the bulk of your nutrition. And so, while protein really does matter, a lot of people are missing one very foundational nutrient, which is fiber. And this matters so much because fiber does support digestion. It does help you feel full, supports regularity, gut health, and just overall metabolic health. And when fiber is low, that's when you're going to find you're craving more, you have less stable energy, and very poor digestion. So, that is really why I think fiber is having a movement right now. I think when it comes to wellness conversations, we tend to overdo it on one thing, like, okay, this person said I need to prioritize my protein. We go balls to the walls, hitting protein only, and then we forget everything. It's a very complicated but beautiful system that we have, and we need to be looking at kind of how everything works together. So I think prioritizing fiber is another good thing, and really paying attention to what you're eating. I think once you do, people are going to start realizing how they feel better. And sometimes it's really just about coming back to the basics. So more berries, more vegetables, beans, seeds, and real food. And it's all going to actually help support your body, which is great. So it's a very simple, useful thing that you can apply to your day-to-day life. And I do also have a resource for you so you can read up on it as well on your own time. And we got that posted in the chat as well. My next topic I want to talk about is healthy aging and longevity habits. This one is also huge. I think it is also interesting that the conversation is changing. A while back, I think longevity felt very biohacking friendly. It felt expensive and sometimes a little extreme, and something that I feel like the average person might not feel like they want to really try and promote longevity in their day-to-day life. But I think it really does come down to being a little bit more simple than what everybody kind of imagines it to be. We do have one brand over on thenatural.com, Young Again, and they are all about pro-aging. I like that term better than anti-aging, and I think that's why this topic does keep growing. People want habits that support aging well. They want to know how to make sure they're supporting their energy, strength, recovery, metabolic health. A lot of people are just wanting to make sure that they can play with their grandkids and they're not kind of stuck to their walls in their own home. They're out doing things, staying active. So, what I think is important to ask is, what am I doing now that's going to help me feel better later and down the road? There's so many different topics we can go into here. I know a lot of ones are about like weightlifting for bone strength, or kind of what you're eating to help even the way you look on the outside. Collagen's a huge topic right now. There's a lot of things. I would love to know if you're doing anything specific, or maybe you are a little bit later in life and there's something that you really focused on in your younger years that helped you with that longevity. I think it's something really important to share, and something that it's just going to help us in the long run, which is, of course, what longevity is. But we have a lot of good topics that jump into wellness habits, food quality, movement, recovery, and consistency. I do think supplements is something that can help this conversation. So you have any of those questions, Young Again over on The Natural is a great brand to take a look at. And I do have a couple resources for you here as well. So I will drop those in the chat so you can read up on that as well. And now longevity is trending. I think as we age, I'm going to go into a little bit of women's health here for our fifth and final topic, because women's wellness, menopause support, and just nutrient aware aging is also really important. So I'll say this is a little bit more nuanced version of women's wellness, not just a vague like self-care version, the trendy hormone buzzword version. I mean, more specific conversations around sleep, stress, muscle recovery, cardiovascular health, and menopause, and how women's needs really do shift through these life stages. A topic that is really growing because women do want more relative support. And I think generic wellness advice is great, but it's not going to help you out in some of these certain topics. They want wellness information that really just makes sense for what they're experiencing in their body. And I think this is especially important because more people are realizing that women's wellness is not just about weight. It's not just about a hormone in a vague sense. It's really about healthy aging, nutrient needs, muscle support, energy recovery, and long term health. I think growing up, a lot of us don't get educated, especially women, on our hormones and what they're doing in our body and how we might feel different during our cycle. If you have more questions on that, I would love to talk about what that looks like as you age, or even just in kind of your younger years before menopause, how your hormones are affecting your body on a day to day, because it's so important. It affects the way you feel. I know we all have our phases, and I think right now people are more aware than ever on what phase they're in, how that makes them feel, maybe how they're eating a little differently. I know some people talk about seed cycling, or they're really tracking their cycle. So this conversation is huge. I think it is very important. It feels timely, practical, and highly relatable. If you have any questions around hormones, women's health, I would love to help you out. We also, again, have some supplements here on thenatural.com that can help support those times of the month or just overall cycles as a whole. And I'm more than happy to do an additional video on that if you would like. I do have a couple articles here that kind of talk about women's health. This one's all about creatine, which is also kind of a big buzzword topic right now, that I think a lot of people are thinking creatine is for the gym bros, but more people are finding every day that it is something that can help with longevity and your cognitive health as well. So that is our fifth topic. I think this trend is really about women being more specific and more useful and stage aware about where you're at. So if you look at these topics all together, there's a really clear pattern. Wellness is moving toward personalization, moving toward prevention, and really moving back from kind of that niche little specific, try, this ingredient, that ingredient. We're looking at our life as a whole and what works for you and your body. People really do want solutions, and more they want a clear understanding and a way that they know that they can, feel better all around in their life. And that's exactly why these topics are trending right now. I think if I was going to specifically pay attention to one, gosh, I don't know if I would. Magnesium is going to be really important. I do recommend adding that in to your day-to-day health. It is something I take every single night before I go to bed because most Americans are deficient. And the fiber topic, I think protein is what we're all focused on, but making sure that we are getting well-balanced nutrition all around. And these all really feel current, really useful, and really easy for people to just add into their own lives. So if you want me to go deeper into any specific topic, let me know. If you have questions, we do have the Natural Wellness Collective, our group where you can come in, join us, ask questions. We do have weekly recipe guides. We'll be diving into some challenges coming up here shortly, and everybody's just there to support one another. So you can join that. The link is in the bio. And then if you are looking for supplement help, thenatural.com is also where you can find all of our supplements. We have a Memorial Day sale coming up here shortly, so you can register for that as well. But thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Erin, and we will see you on Thursday.